Today I want to show you how to use the Adobe Creative Cloud Packager to not only install your apps, but also uninstall your apps and deploy the installers and uninstallers in a way where you can handle 10, 20, 30, 100, 1,000 machines maybe. Just about every major software company develops some way for you to deploy their software, whether that's Office or in our example here, Adobe. And having these packagers is very, very essential to allowing IT managers to deploy the software, keep the software upgraded, and then go back and uninstall it when it becomes out of date. And so there's no exception to that here with the Adobe Creative Cloud Packager, and we'll go ahead and jump right in. First, we'll start with installing apps, actually building the PKG file for Mac OS, and selecting our apps and building the installer. And then we'll circle back around and maybe pretend like we're fast forwarding into time a little bit, and we're ready to uninstall those packages or the apps that we installed, and we'll build the uninstaller, and I'll show you how I actually deploy that through a application called FileWave, and it's a enterprise management system for Windows and Mac and Android and Chrome and Apple TVs and on it goes. And there are other software companies like FileWave. I think Casper is another one. I think they're actually calling their software JAMF now, JAMF. And it basically does the same thing. It's just a different software company. So let's go ahead, and I've got this pulled up here to show you what version and what build I'm running here of the Creative Cloud Packager. And I just downloaded this through the web portal through your Adobe account. You will need to have an account that is a member of the education management web interface. I don't know that this CCP launcher is available to just anyone, but it definitely is available if you can log into your Adobe account. So let's close that. And first, let's create a package. So I click create a package, and we want to call this something, and this will be, let's just say we want Photoshop, and that's it. So we'll call it CC 18 Photoshop. Okay, and we will save it to this drive, and the license type will be device. In our case, we deploy to workstations. We don't deploy to users. So we would select device license here, and we leave all of these options checked. We want the Creative Cloud desktop application to be available. We want the option to sign in and download typekit fonts, that type of thing, and access personal cloud storage. So we leave this checked, and also the ability to update the apps as well. You can go in here and do some custom settings with the package configuration. For example, with the updates, you can say that you can use an internal update server if you have one of those on your network. We leave this as admin users update via Adobe Update Manager. And so if you need to make any changes in here, this is where you would do it. And so we'll cancel that. And then you'll need to select your deployment pool. And basically that's what licenses that you've got your agreement set up through. This is where you would come and select which pool of licenses you actually want to utilize when you're installing this package. So we have just the one, click select. And now if we click next, we'll be ready to start actually selecting what applications we want to include in this installer. And A lot of this, I believe, is cloud-based. It's actually going out to the internet to pull in the latest versions of everything, which is really cool because if you download this one Creative Cloud packager, then it pretty much updates itself, and you keep opening the same program over and over again, and it keeps showing you the latest versions, and then allows you to go back to archive versions if you need to rebuild a package for an older version for whatever reason. So we'll do English North America. And then real quick before we drop into here, this is what I was saying earlier, show archived versions. If you click this, then it'll actually show you, after it retrieves everything from their servers, it'll actually show you if you, let's say Photoshop, we want an older version than the newest one. I believe we can come down here into archived applications, and you see, yeah, here it is down here. They let you go all the way back to 2014, and then looks like CS6. So that's pretty cool that that's all there. If we needed to build a PKG, if we needed to build a packager for Photoshop CS6 and with the updates included, we could easily do that by just coming here and selecting that. We don't want to go back in time though. So we're going to grab, let's say, the latest version of Photoshop, Creative Cloud, and updates. And we will say build. And it's actually going to download the Photoshop app from the internet, which hopefully doesn't take too long. I may have to do some video editing to edit out some of this download time if it takes a long time. It shouldn't take too long, I wouldn't think so. Yeah, here we go. We're moving right along. And so basically, you can see how this would be if you were going to deploy to, you know, obviously if you were doing 100 or 1,000 machines, this would be almost the way you would have to do it. But even 15, 20 installs, this can save a considerable amount of time if you're used to just, you know, having a USB drive and you're you're actually copying the PKG over to the desktop or whatever, just running the installer. That would take a good portion of the day to do 15 to 20 installs. And then if you've manually installed, and then let's say, you know, next year when CC 19 comes out, well, you're going to have to go uninstall all the old versions and then do the same thing again. And it's just not a great way to be able to control what versions and what's available on the end users or on the workstations. So the download kind of slowed down a little bit. I don't know why. Yeah, we'll edit this out. There we go. Maybe we'll edit this out. I don't know. If it doesn't take too much longer, then we'll just leave it in. It's kind of a hassle to edit videos. I'm not a big fan. You know this channel and how heavily edited the videos are all the time. Not. So let's see. While that's finishing up downloading and creating the package file, I'll go ahead and show you FileWave. And this is just a look at the file sets that I've got built here. And you can see I've got the Adobe CC uninstaller, which I'll show you how I built that in just a minute. And let's bring this down here so we can keep track of it. And so FileWave is really cool. It's a way you can deploy software and settings and configurations, and it's really fantastic and is a must-have, or something like it is a must-have if you're going to be dealing with you know, several machines. And okay, so that was pretty quick. So CC18 Photoshop has been successfully created. All right, so we'll go back to the main menu. And then, so we've got the PKG file built, and it's actually stored on our hard drive, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Let's go ahead while we're in the Creative Cloud Packager and let's build the uninstaller. Okay, so like I said, fast forward, to a point in time where you're like, you know what, I just need to uninstall all of the Adobe licenses or all the Adobe apps that I've already installed. And so let's call this Photoshop, actually CC, we'll just call it Adobe Uninstaller. And we'll save it there, okay? And I'm gonna make it generic, that name like that, Adobe Uninstaller, because I'm gonna come in here and just say select all, and it's going to just remove all versions of all Adobe products. And that way it's sort of a blanket catch-all. So if we were to run this package, this uninstall package, it's gonna look for all versions of just about everything here and go ahead and uninstall it. And so that is finished. Close. So we're finished with the Creative Cloud, Packager, and that allowed us to build the install package and the uninstall package. And the uninstall package, like I said, is going to delete everything that is affiliated with Adobe Creative Cloud. So the first thing we would do is build a new file set and include the Adobe CC 18 package, which we have here. And if I double click on that, you can see it's basically just going to, install the CC 18 right here. It's going to install that in its various places and do what it does. If you go to scripts, this is where it gets interesting, and this is where the uninstaller comes into play, and this is where having a software suite like this for management can automate a lot of this stuff and save you a lot of time and a lot of headache. So we have the uninstaller, but how do we go about making sure that the uninstaller runs before our new version gets installed on the machine? Let's say we have CC 17 installed already and we want to go from CC 17 to CC 18. And as you can see right here, I have a CC 17 installer that has already been deployed, and it in fact is on a lot of machines. So we want to make sure that before we go install CC 18 on the same machine, that we get rid of all the other applications, because we don't want multiple versions of the same apps. So the first thing we would do is make sure that this is, not associated with the machines anymore, so that's not reinstalling all the time. And then we come here and we click on scripts, and you can see that I've got my requirement script that ccuninstall.sh has to run. Okay, so basically before the CC18 installer is going to run, this script right here has to run, and it's really, really simple. All it is this script is saying run the Adobe CC uninstaller. Okay, so this part right here is doing all the magic. This part here has to be there so that the script can run, and then exit 0 is basically just saying that everything went okay with the script. Okay, so then the question is, well, how do you get the Adobe CC uninstaller on the machine for it to run? Because just because you run this command, if you were to open a terminal here on this machine and run this command, it wouldn't do anything, because Adobe CC uninstaller is not located in this directory, in the library directory. So it wouldn't do anything. So how we get CC uninstaller on all the machines is we create a new file set and we label it whatever we want. I've conveniently labeled it Adobe CC uninstaller so I can remember what it is. And if we take a look at that, all I'm doing is dropping the Adobe CC uninstaller and the Adobe CC uninstaller config file that it generates with it, I'm throwing those in a very easy to locate directory, and it's not going to be there very long. We just basically put the file on the machine, and then we let the script call it and let it run, and then we go back and delete it. Not manually. When we remove this, it will actually automatically remove the uninstaller from the machine. So let's see. Let's go ahead and let's look here. Let's move this so you can see. So here's the uninstaller right here, and as you'll see, here's the actual exec, and then here's the config file that goes with it. So we take these two files because the XML file right here is actually what's telling the uninstaller what apps you want to install. So you have to have the config file that comes with it. If you don't, then it's not going to run successfully. So these two files are necessary. The uninstaller info.txt is not necessary. You don't have to include that. So as you can see with this file set here, all I'm doing is taking these two files, the uninstaller and the config, and I'm placing them on the root library folder, and that's it. So that way, when I come here with my requirement script and I run a command, that install or that uninstall file is actually there. Okay, so if we go here, so now that the uninstaller is on the machine, and now that we've got the script calling it before CC18 actually installs, what will happen is the uninstaller will actually run, and while CC18 is downloading, the uninstaller is going to run. It only takes a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds or so, to go through and just uninstall all previous Adobe applications. And what will happen is once everything is uninstalled, within maybe 30 or 40 seconds and CC18 being downloaded to the machine, that installer will fire up and start installing whatever apps you had selected in the package builder. So the last time that we ran the package, the package builder, we only selected Photoshop. But I could have very easily gone through and selected, just about anything that I wanted to. I could have selected all apps and then just, built the package. It would be a very, very large package. As you can see, this one that I've got built is 11.4 gigs, and that still doesn't include all of the available apps through Creative Cloud. There's several that we don't include. I think you could probably generate a file, a package file, maybe around 20 gigs or so, 25 maybe. Which is fairly large, but that includes all of your Creative Cloud apps. So that's pretty much it. And like I said, if you have a previous version, and it doesn't even have to be CC17, that uninstaller, if you check the box that says, uninstall all versions of Adobe products, that'll go back a pretty good ways, because you may have a lot of machines that haven't been upgraded, and they may all be running CS6, and you want to remove that and then go to CC18. That's how you would do it. You just build the uninstaller, associate a file, push it out, however you're going to do it, whether it's Jamf or FileWave or Apple's remote desktop utility where you can deploy certain folders and packages. However it takes to get it there, as long as it gets run before you do the CC18 install or whatever Adobe version you're going to install, as long as that gets done before, that should remove all versions and variants of the Adobe products that were on the machine before. And that way you don't have to go through a whole clean install and re-image just to make sure that all your Adobe products are actually uninstalled properly. I was reading online, and actually a couple of people on a couple different websites, which means maybe it's the same person, who knows, I actually read someone that was saying that the best way to completely get rid of previous Adobe installs is to just blow away your installation and start all over again. And that seems a little drastic to me, and it doesn't seem like an accurate representation of what you would need to do. It just, to me, it doesn't seem like Adobe would actually have anything set up like that, where the only way to remove anything would be to re-image the machine. Now, I'm not saying that Adobe's perfect, and some of you may seriously disagree with that last statement and say, yeah, they're dumb enough to do that. But it just doesn't seem like, if their software is legit and they have a real way to install, it seems like they should have a pretty easy way to go back and uninstall. And in my opinion, the package manager or the package creator that they have, it pretty much does everything you need it to do. I've had no problems with using the package creator or the package builder in deploying these things. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That'll save you a lot of time, and that is how you would mass deploy and uninstall CC 18, and CC 19 probably will be the same way in another year.